Hey everybody, this is Chelsea Schaefer.
And Caitlin Gustav.
And this is The Score, the official podcast of the sport of team roping. This is the Team Roping Journal's semi-weekly podcast highlighting the team roping industry's top talents and influencers through stories that inspire and connect ropers. We sit down with ropers from the professional ranks as well as industry icons and producers to delve into topics that make the team roping world tick. This is Season 2. It will feature even deeper interviews, storytelling, and issue-based coverage, and we are so excited you're here. Hey everybody, welcome to The Score. Hey Caitlin.
Hey Chelsea.
Well guys, this is an episode I promised you all a few weeks back when Ty Blasingame won RodeoHouston and won that $50,000 that went with it. I called my husband who was out in the practice pen. He was roping the Helomatic on a Colt, and we both just laughed and smiled so big because Blaster is just one of our own, and I'm really excited that he gets to be on this podcast today. He's been there since my husband's high school rodeo days. He's been a friend of mine since I moved to Colorado years ago. I mean, the night I won my first little bit of money towards my permit at Steamboat Springs, the first person that said, "How'd it go?" And I told him how I did. He was so excited for me. He probably won't remember that, but we were walking back to the trailer in the dark. He had just roped in the mixed roping that they have there at Steamboat. And that is just something that I'll never forget. It was something probably really insignificant to him, but he was just as excited for me as I was at the time, I think, and so that was really cool. He changed a tire for me on the way down the hill in Laramie this summer, going to Rawlins to the amateur rodeo in Rawlins, and he's just kind of been there when we needed him. He's in the box almost every single time my husband nods his head at an amateur rodeo, circuit rodeo, jackpot. He is super helpful. He has definitely supported us throughout these years, so it's kind of exciting to see him kind of get what he has coming when it comes to this. But that doesn't mean that this was an easy podcast for me to put together. It's a lot harder when you know somebody as well as we know Blaster to ask, to forget that maybe everybody else doesn't know everything we know about him, to remember to ask some more obvious things that might seem obvious to me, but maybe not everybody knows his whole story, and I'm really glad that he was willing to share. Caitlin, you know Blaster too.
Yeah, Blaster's awesome. Especially when I first moved up here, I didn't know anyone. Blaster was pretty easy to get along with, and I can second that. If you're at a rodeo, amateur, wherever we're at, Blaster will be in the box kicking dirt for you. I went and rodeoed with him. I traveled with him to a couple of rodeos last summer, and he was telling me the start, telling me how I need to get out, just always helping me, and it's cool to be able to learn from a guy like that.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody has entered more rodeos, amateur rodeos, jackpots, pro rodeos. I mean, he has been grinding.
And everything, he's just easy to get along with, call him up.
Yep.
Anything you need, he's there.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see everything that's come into Blaster. So it's exciting, and I'm so glad he stopped by the house one morning and was willing to have breakfast and be ready to talk about this podcast and do it. And I've asked him to say some things that are kind of personal when you've got 25,000 of your closest friends listening on The Score. It's not easy. It's one thing when team roping fans listen to your story, but at this point, I feel like a lot of the guys that are in the top 30 in the world are listening to The Score. So you might get some jabs from the guys at the jackpots or at the rodeos. They might now know your whole life story. So, Blaster, thank you so much. All right, now for everybody who doesn't know everything that we know about Blaster, here are the nitty-gritty details. Originally from Colorado, he joined the PRCA in 2003, and he made his Mountain State Circuit Finals every year since. He made the NFR in 2010 with Cody Hintz, where they placed in 3 rounds, and he finished 14th in the world standings with about 89,001. He won the Ram National Circuit Finals Rodeo in 2014 with longtime Mountain State Circuit friend JW Borrego. And this year, he won RodeoHouston with Kyle Lockett, effectively punching his ticket to the 2019 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. He's roping with Brandon Bates this year, and he's trying to get his partner to Vegas too. So, everybody, I hope you all enjoy this interview with the Blaster. Morning. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah. Lean in.
Good morning.
You speak so quietly, so you have to lean in and talk.
All right.
All right. So, you listen to the podcast sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
So
I listen to him a lot all night.
Well, I don't know that I know as much of anybody's story that I've ever talked to as I do yours, so you have all kinds of questions. I have like a list so long of questions to ask you.
Perfect.
Because I feel like I know your story, but there's so much I don't know. So, so that's what this is for. So sorry about how much you're going to have to tell me about your life.
It's perfect.
Awesome. All right. So one of my favorite questions to ask people is, like, take me into your arena as a kid. When you were learning to rope, what was your place like at your parents' house? How was your dad and mom coaching you? Tell me about it.
Mainly they roped calves. My dad roped calves and my uncle a lot. I mean, it was a woven wire arena, huge sand pit, pretty much what it was. No run back alley. And that's kind of how I grew up. I mean, I started breakawaying calves and stuff, and then we built an arena, and it was just a panel arena, no run back alley still, and we started team roping, and I got bucked off a lot of times in it. It was real hard.
What kind of horses were you learning to rope?
I had a pony, and he was an awesome pony. He was a little bay pony, and I rode him. And my first jackpot was at Fountain, Colorado. I was like 6 years old. I headed for Sean Leonard. I won't ever forget it. And then after that, we bought a big bay horse from a sale. He was awesome. And so I mean, I won 2 new saddles and couldn't fit in them, and I just rode an old saddle forever, and I finally got to fit in them. The first day I rode my new one, I got bucked off. I mean, it was interesting, but I mean, growing up, I didn't get a rope as much as a guy would think. It was more riding horses and taking care of cattle and stuff. And then when I got to be around 12, 13, I got serious about it, and my mom would take me and my sister everywhere to jackpots, and that's when the U.S. was big in the regional shootouts and stuff, and we went quite a few places.
Mm-hmm. And was your family ranching at the time? Your parents were horse trainers? What were they doing?
Yeah, they were well, my dad was on and off. He'd be breaking colts, and then he'd take off driving a truck for a week. And we had cattle. I mean, we had 100 head, a couple thousand acres ran on that was my grandparents' ranch. And my mom, she carried the mail off and on. And then I started going to homeschool when I was a freshman. And then I kind of started taking care of all the cattle and stuff. But, I mean, that's what we did. I mean, a lot of it. And broke horses here and there. And then as the older I got, that kind of went out. I started rodeo, and then all kind of quit.
The homeschooling decision, whose call was that?
It was just the worst decision ever. It was my call.
Yeah.
You know, I went to school, and it just got to be where we lived. Everyone was starting to come from Colorado Springs out there, and I wasn't getting along with the kids real well and stuff wasn't. And my parents, they're like, "It's your choice. You can go to homeschool if you want to," and I did it. Worst mistake ever. I'd tell everybody that was probably my worst mistake of my life is going homeschool. And because I didn't do my schoolwork right, and I worked and roped, and they begged me to play sports, and I didn't play sports all the way through high school, and it was a mistake, but part of it.
Did you finish? Did you graduate?
GD. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I did that. I could have got my diploma, and I've thought about doing it, honestly, just messing around online. I mean, but I just took the GED deal and got that out of the way.
Mm-hmm. So then, obviously, you didn't go college rodeo?
No, I could have. I had a lot of good deals offered, and I could have just went to school, but in my mind, and I probably wish I'd have done that too, but in my mind, I was like, well, I'm going to be rodeoing anyways, and I'll stay out of less trouble if I just start going to pro rodeos and working and stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. So,
did you get your permit when you were 18?
Yeah. I roped with Lance Allen when I was 18 as first, and I won, I believe it was the first rodeo fill my permit, Steamboat Springs, yeah.
Steamboat? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And so what year was that you filled your permit?
2003.
2003, okay. So, between 2003 and 2010, what was going on?
It was I don't know, I always did. I made circuit finals every year since I had my permit, till now. I didn't have real good horses. I didn't know. I mean, I won quite a bit. I won a little bit, but I wasn't ready to go rodeo, and I should have stayed home a little longer.
What does not being ready to go rodeo mean to you
now? You better have some horses and be competitive and know how to win around tough competition. And I really didn't. I mean, I could be fast every now and then, but I couldn't put enough runs together. And I had some pretty good partners, and I mean, I wish I would have circuit rodeoed and for a little longer, and I honestly wish I wouldn't have bought my card right away and would have waited until I could have won Rookie of the Year and just kept on my permit for a little while. And then as it went on, I got better horses. And 2006, I started getting into some good rodeos and stuff. 2007, I started being in the top 40. Should have made the finals in 2009. All I had to do was get out of the steer at Pendleton and catch a steer, and I broke the barrier. And then made it in 10, and then so on, so on.
2009, was that the year? That was the year Spencer died, right? Was that right at the same time?
Yes. Yeah, he died in 2009, yeah.
Yeah, was it?
It was fall, November, I believe, 2009.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so,
it was during circuit finals. And then
I think Cody Buffalo died the year after you made the finals, right?
yes, yeah.
So we're talking about Spencer Miller and Cody Buffalo. And those were two really close friends of yours.
Really close. Spencer and I, we went to school together. I guess so you could say Cody and I did. We high school rodeo together since I was a kid. They were really good friends. Spencer and I spend unreal amount of time together. And him and I, we roped together all the time. And then in 2010, I mean, I was dedicated to make the finals for Spencer. And I wore his initials at the finals every night, and a lot of people didn't know him. A lot of people, but if you did know him one time, as you know, I mean, he was remarkable. And then that next year, summer, I was in Sheridan when Cody Buffalo passed away, and kind of knew that one was coming because of the cancer, you know. And that was, but I mean, it was rough. I mean, and he was a good kid. I mean, I lost several good friends over the last 10 years. I mean, it's the last 9 years.
Well, moving to the last 9 years since you made the finals. So you didn't have the best finals when you went in 2010. Did that change anything? If you had an amazing finals and just, I mean, what would it have changed?
Oh, I think it would have changed a lot. I mean, as horsepower, money-wise, you know, and I had big hopes of making money because, I mean, obviously I thought it was going to be my setup, and I was prepared. And until you get there in the big wall, the big yellow wall, it's like the green monster in baseball. I mean, it's unreal once you're there. And I always said I'll make it back. I know what it is. I'll make it back. It's going to be deadly. I mean, I know what to do now. And I had I knew I'd make the finals the next year. I was like, once I got that first time out of my belt, you know, and we killed them. We was kicking their butts all winter. And then after Houston, I don't think I won a check until maybe Vernal, Utah. I mean, I was in the top 15 the whole time, and then all of a sudden it just dropped. Horses dropped. My head horses. That's when my old Roan went crippled for good. I mean, he was toast until this last year. And that was just, it could have changed my life. It could have changed my career. And that's what I'm hoping this happened to me lately does.
Now, horses. You've had to sell good horses when times have been tough. I know I talked to Caesar about that in an earlier episode. Like when there are lots of guys that, like, you know, Trevor keeps sick and forever and Banker, you know. And
I've sold a lot of good ones. I sold myself a foot at times, and then somehow I'd get one again, and then I'd sell him. I sold one last year that was a nice horse. Sold him to Brock Hansen. He was a winner, and I was winning like crazy on him. I won so much jackpot on him, just local and stuff, and I had to sell him. And then what's disgusting about that is then the money's gone, and then you gotta figure out how to get the money to buy another one, you know. And I don't know, it's a blessing that guys have to be able to keep the good ones.
Yeah. And
then some people just don't have that opportunity too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that. I mean, obviously, it affects every part of your roping when you have to do that. And it affects. Yeah,
I mean, it affects everything. It affects you, your partners. And I mean, it don't matter how good you rope. If you don't have a horse that you can win day in and day out, different setups, it's going to be hard to get the good partners you want to, you know. And I mean, I've always been lucky to keep good partners just because whether I was circuit rodeoing or rodeoing, just because, in my opinion, headers are hard to come by. And if you got some talent and have a chance to win, you're going to get a decent partner when you're heading.
There have been people that have helped you out with horses over the years, though, too. I remember you've ridden some of Ohato's horses, like at Cheyenne, obviously. Shane Ohato's horses fit the Cheyenne setup.
Yeah, I rode his horses at BFI. I don't know that I really rode it. I never rode his horses at Cheyenne.
No, not at Cheyenne, just at BFI.
And then I rode a couple of Rick Monteras.
Rick Monteras, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
And then, I've had people here and there, help me with horses, and I'm very thankful for it. And when it comes down to it, unless they're your own and you get a feel for them every day, it's hard.
Yeah.
And I've rode some awesome horses of people's, and it's just hard unless they're your own. And I haven't had the opportunity where somebody says, "Oh, here, take a horse for 6 months and get it done," So, I've had a lot of help in a lot of ways, though.
Yeah, and your brother-in-law Gary's family raises horses, correct?
Yeah, well...
Or do you guys raise horses?
We raised horses, and then Gary would ride them a lot, and then when we kind of quit raising them, and if we did, we'd sell them when they were young, and have a chance to go through with them. When I say, Gary's made me some horses, and helped me out, a couple horses, and then JW McQuistion, him and I had a lot of horse deals and some good ones that come out of there. But again, we'd kind of sell them,
Yeah.
But Gary, he's had some nice horses that I've got to ride.
Where does the black fit into the picture? Where did he come along?
Well, we raised him.
Your parents?
Yes, my parents raised him. Skip Barbell. That's his name.
Okay.
And Gary rode him. I think my dad started him. If I remember right. He's 19. It was a while back.
Yeah.
Gary, and then Gary rode him, and then he ended up owning him. And then we had him again. I think my parents had him again. And then Gary
roping on him?
Roping on him, ranching on him, cowboying on him, riding him in the feedlot and stuff. And
was he a particularly good ranch horse?
No.
No. Okay.
He might have been back then. I don't remember, but right now you can't even gather the roping steers on him without spinning circles. And I wasn't doing like at Houston on the video. I wasn't doing a spin for fun. I couldn't get out of the arena hardly. Cody Hintz led me out of the arena on that horse one time. It was, but anyways, back. No. But he's famous for that.
Yeah.
But he roped on him a bunch outside, and then I rode a Foxman tail horse at the finals, and I had him that year, and Gary had him in like 08 maybe, I don't know, and we traded the black horse back to Gary for that horse, and then in 2012 I started up with Rich Skelton. 12, and I bought him, and I bought him back then just for Pendleton. Trying to make the finals, I bought him just for Pendleton because the horse ain't gonna fall down. No way. And so I've had him since then. Well, and then I sold him.
You've kind of had him.
Sold him for a couple years, and then bought him back.
Did he pay for a truck or anything when you sold him? Is that when you went to driving truck, or did you just sell him for?
No, he paid for several things. To get me out of a bind. It's kind of like we're talking about selling your horses, Yeah. It was it wasn't smart at all. Because he was older. He was 15, I think, when I sold him, but that was his prime. And I just won the Dodge Circuit Finals on him. And then I rode him the rest of that year after the Dodge Circuit Finals, and then sold him.
And you sold him to Cole Dorenkamp, who grew up by you. And Cole did well on him.
Did well. Yeah, he done good.
He won Greeley on him, right?
Yeah, won Greeley on him. Well,
or maybe he might have been on
he might have rode his gray.
Yeah.
I think he rode his gray there, but he rode him at Cheyenne and won good there. He done good there. And I'd mount out. I'd ride him every now and then. Cole let me back on him.
He's funny though, doesn't he? Bring his tail and like do the.
Yeah, he swishes his tail, and I've caught it before, and that's why sometimes people look at me funny. I got it tied down half the time.
Do you tie it down between his legs or over to the side?
Between his legs.
Between his legs.
Yeah, and then I didn't tie it down at Houston.
No? Did you just not want that look at Houston?
No, like, he looks better with it tied down, really.
Yeah.
But I had it in my head that I didn't feel like he was working good when I had it tied down. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've heard that, but I don't know. I've heard you mess with horses' tails.
That's what we always thought too.
Yeah, but anyways, I didn't tie it down there, but I've caught it at several opens and first one at the BFI, first one at the U.S. Finals. I've done it, so.
Guys, this episode is brought to you by U.S. Rider. Caitlin, how does my husband handle it when I run a truck out of fuel?
Not very well.
Not very well. And when I do run our truck out of fuel on I-25, I remind him, and it's no big deal, we have U.S. Rider. And he's not nearly as impressed with that as I am. But either way, U.S. Rider does come and save us on the side of the highway. My husband has run out of fuel. You've heard that commercial before. He's done it. But there are a lot of wives out there who may run out of fuel, may blow a tire. There's a lot of guys out there that may run out of fuel, may blow a tire, may have any level of accident that you might think of. And U.S. Rider is so handy. It is the roadside assistance program of the equine industry. They have been our sponsor since the beginning of the Score podcast, and we so appreciate them. And because of that, you've got a new promo code for 2019 so that you can get 2 free months of U.S. Rider service if you mention promo code TRJ19. That is promo code TRJ19. All you've got to do is go to usrider.org. When you sign up, you log in to join or renew. You enter in TRJ19. That's your promo code. You get 2 free months of towing, repairs, battery assistance, anything you need, flat tires, lockout service, fuel, oil, or water delivery. And you get enrolled in the Winner's Circle Advantage benefits and discounts. With that code, TRJ19, you get 2 free months of it. usrider.org. Oh, man. So I want to talk a little bit about... Gosh, I feel like I'm making you talk about all kinds of unpleasant stuff. I promise. We'll
no,
it's
good.
Too. Yeah. I want to talk about the night after the George Strait.
Oh.
I know. I remember.
Honestly, the night after the George Strait.
not necessarily the night, but I want to talk about like how you felt after the George Strait. So what we're talking about, was it 2014?
No, it was, yeah. It was, yeah. Yeah, it was 2000. Yeah, I believe it was 14. Yeah.
With Dakota Kirchenschlager.
Yes.
High call.
Yeah.
At the George Strait.
Yeah, it had to be, I don't know, short 5, middle 5.
Yeah.
Riding the black horse. Mm-hmm. Hung something. I still don't know really what. I've not watched the.
You still haven't watched it?
Not the tape. I watched the video a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But I hung my rope and got it undone. Took one swing rope steer. Still was gonna win the rodeo or the George Strait and couldn't dally. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was hard.
And that would have been like, I remember we were sitting at Spicer's, like somebody was videoing it at the time and sending us updates, and everybody's heart broke at Spicer's for you at the time, and like for you and Dakota, like particularly.
Oh yeah, both of us.
It's life-changing money for anybody, but for you two.
Oh, it'd been unreal. Yeah,
that would have been unreal.
I mean, that roping is prestigious. It's awesome, mm-hmm. But yeah. I mean, what do you do? I mean, I didn't even want to get mad. I want to cry. Mm-hmm. You know, and I mean, it was amazing. You know how many texts and phone calls you get after you win something. I probably got more then. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of people that come up. They knew. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew. I mean, because I was done rodeoing.
Yeah.
Too. I told Cole Davison, I said, unless I win the George Strait, I'm done. Because I was roping with him at the time. And, well, I'll be dang, we was high call, Mm-hmm. We roped so good, too, the whole time. And all I had to do was turn the steer and it was over. Dakota's going to heal him. Mm-hmm. I felt more bad for him than me. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, this day was just not ending.
Yeah.
So we go to Houston. I love Houston the next day. I blow 3 tires out.
Oh, my God.
So between San Antonio and Houston. Mm-hmm. And I go to Houston and rope. I mean, I roped good, but we didn't do no good. And then after that, I went home and went to work. I didn't touch a rope. Mm-hmm. And then I went to Dodge Circuit Finals. I roped the day before Dodge Circuit Finals and won Dodge Circuit Finals. Mm-hmm. And to say, I mean, yeah, it was awesome, but It wasn't like winning the straight.
Yeah.
But I mean, it changed my life a lot not winning it, because I mean it could have changed my life in different ways if I'd have won it. I mean, it was I wanted to give up after that deal, because I was out there long enough and I needed that big win and I had never got it. And I mean, I was so close. Something would happen all the time. And then last week.
Yeah, from last week. How many times have you wanted to quit, or how many times have you even said you were going to quit before last week?
Oh, several.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows it. I mean, I've said I'm going to quit, and I just get down. I've had way too much heart when I should have quit maybe for a while, and I never would give in. I never did want to quit. Well, it's been getting to the time where I was sick of it, over it, the horses, and I love the rope. I love the rodeo. It's hard to watch the NFR every year, and I mean, I wanted to quit, and up until the Houston deal, I mean, I was just ready to stay around the circuit rodeo and stuff, you know. And I had a great winter, and it was before Houston. I had a good winter, but it just gets hard through the whole year with horses.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing, horses.
Do you have 50,000 at Houston? What's the horse game plan? I mean, is the black going to the NFR?
No.
No?
He might be there. I sure ain't going to be able to ride in the Grand Entry. But no, I mean, it just depends. Who knows between now and then? I've been hunting horses like crazy. Yeah. My goal is to honestly I'm going to rodeo, like from Reno on, I'm going to rodeo hard until for sure after Cheyenne. But my goal is to set myself up for the finals and next year a little bit with horses. Because then you have a great finals, and then you can go next year and be prepared, you know. And I've been looking for horses. I got a couple old horses that will be dynamite at the NFR if that's what it comes to.
Because I'm just thinking, like, $50,000 seems like so much money.
No.
But it's not going to touch, like, I mean, you can't go to Drigger's house and buy a horse for 50.
No.
You know, like, how do you, I mean, maybe, but not.
No, no, it ain't. When that 50,000 hits your account, it ain't gonna last very long. There's no way. Part of it, but I'm more of a kind of guy that I'm gonna be off the beaten path looking for horses. I'm gonna buy horses that haven't been run through 2 or 3 people at rodeo. I mean, they're probably gonna be more like $15,000-$20,000 horses, and I'm gonna have to ride them for a little while. You know, I've just been looking in odd places and been trying. I'll try anything. And I learned that lesson a long time ago, because I bought horses that cost quite a bit, and then there was one standing next to him that cost half as much. It would probably ended up being better. And I mean, the most expensive horse I ever bought was $15,000. So I don't know that. I mean, that ain't good. I mean,
there's not a lot of guys that can say that are rodeoing making the finals, like Begay, perhaps.
Yeah.
Other than
him. You know, and I mean, there's times that I've wanted to buy him, I just
can't. Yeah.
So, and I don't know. Hopefully, I can sometimes.
Yeah. No, we were circuit rodeoing last year, and we didn't know what you were going to do this year. I mean, you didn't seem to know what you were going to do this year. What lit the fire?
I mean, there's a lot of things that changed in my life, and I mean, I got a fire lit into me last fall, and
I beat Pendleton.
Yeah, and I just went out there randomly. And I just
Borrego was one of your.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, we just rode. Me and him rode for a long time. We just said, heck, let's go to Pendleton, and I just took off and went to Pendleton, and we did good. And I had a fire built in me. And I've been living in Casper, Wyoming, roping and I get a rope with Johnson's all the time.
Oh, you do? That's gregreat.
Yeah, it's great. Kellen's gone to college, so it really works out because everybody heals. Justin Johnson is, he's riding horses all the time, training horses. And I mean, I get a rope every day, and I've learned a lot. So it's good, and I get that fire once in a while. I've had it, but this fall I just wanted to make the final so bad again. And then again, I almost was going to give up, and then it was just a blessing, Houston, you know.
Yeah. Now, are you getting smarter? Have you learned to use your head
more?
Oh,
yeah, I have. Well, once in a while it'll disappear, but just once in a while. But I've gotten a lot smarter, I think. You know, it's like people like at Houston, like, well, was you nervous on the last, you know, I had so fun. I'm like, no, because I done messed them situations up enough. What was I going to do, mess up again? I mean,
yeah, that's a way to think of it.
I mean, I was going to ride my horse and across the line and rope, and that steer come into me, and it was perfect. And then Kyle healed him unbelievable. But I mean, I didn't reach a whole lot at Houston. I mean, I've been learning. I ride my horses, I can be twice as fast. And if I ride my horses and throw a coil and a half, 2 coils, let alone 3 coil, everything's going to happen faster. Healers are healing faster now. It used to be header get on fast, healers 1, 2, 3, you know, heal them, and that was the thing. And now it's so fast, both ends. You just got to figure out the snappiest way. And for me to ride my horse across the line and have snappier head loops, a lot faster.
Now, they used to tell me that, like, when you'd ride into the box and the announcer would be like, this is the blaster, he can throw faster than anybody else. And, you know, do you hear
still
it anymore?
does it. No, yeah.
Do you hear it? And does it ever psych you out? Because I used to hear the guys say, oh no, they've said it, they're going to jinx him.
No, it don't bother me. I used to hear everything a little bit, you know, and I can still hear Boy a little bit because, I mean, but when I'm back in the corner, it's over. I mean, I'm focused, and it took me a long time to get that way. Like when I was younger, I messed a lot of short rounds up at rodeos because I just wasn't focused. And I had an old man tell me one time. He says, "You look at your steer's horns and just focus, and have it in your mind you're going to tear his head off." And it helped me. And it takes a lot of time to get that. And I mean, nowadays kids are unconscious. It comes easy for them. I mean, like, you can back like kids like Garrett Chick in there for 100,000. He ain't gonna think of it. He's gonna head the steer. So I mean, different. Like, I wasn't put in a lot of huge situations when I was a kid. I high school rodeoed, but I didn't go to all that junior world. I didn't go to a lot of that stuff. Wish I would have. I'd tell kids to now, but I didn't. I wasn't in a lot of situations, so it took me a while. But like Houston, it didn't bother me now.
Good. If you could change one thing about your rodeo career and the way you did it, what would you change?
I would have went and stayed with some people. I would have went and learned from better people and not been hard-headed and think I could figure it out myself. I would have went to Texas or Arizona and lived there and been around good guys, been around guys that rope good, Christian guys. I mean, that would have changed a lot of stuff. I mean, the rodeo lifestyle is how you want to live it, but anymore you better pay attention to business and not be out all night or this or that, or you're going to get your butt beat. And I've learned, I mean, so you better rope and practice your butt off because there's somebody is. I mean, if you're not roping and trying, Caleb Rodriguez and Clay Tryon I promise you, Clay Smith, they're running 50 to 100 a day. So, I mean, that's the only thing I could say I'd have changed is I'd have went and I'd have prepared at a younger age so I wouldn't be where I was in the last few years struggling to get horses and stuff. Because there's a life out here at the rodeo, and people don't believe it. I mean, they just think it's a dream and a hobby. But, I mean, it's obvious it's not. I mean, look at all the people that's made a living out of it. I mean, if you take the right steps, I tell every kid that. You take the right steps, you can make it, and you can make it your life. A lot of people, it's just for fun, but I mean, it isn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that is a perfect way to end because I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to see how you're doing this year.
Yeah, and I appreciate, I mean, if whoever's listening that's helped me, I appreciate everybody that's helped me out. Whether they were to buy me a cheeseburger, whether I'm staying at their house, people in Casper, Frank and Kinder Martin have been awesome. I mean, to me, Kinder's been there a lot. I mean, all my family, everybody's been there. And people, you can't do it without, you better treat people like you want to be treated because in 20 or 30 years, when you ain't swinging that rope no more, it's going to be the people that you help change a tire or get gas, you know, whatever.
Yeah, thanks for changing that
tire. I just come into me, you know, but honestly.
Absolutely. No.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Thanks so much, Ty. thanks, Caitlin, for putting this together.
Anytime. This was an easy one.
Yeah, it kind of flowed because, yeah.
And Blaster had a great interview. It was great to learn a little bit more about Blaster that I didn't personally know about.
Yeah, I learned a lot of stuff about him that I didn't know, and that's what made it a lot of fun. Hope everybody else did too. Hey, before you go, I want to give a shout out. If you guys are really into these podcasts, try listening to the Ask Annie podcast. It's within our network, the Equine Network. Annie, she works a couple cubicles over from Caitlin, and she's starting a podcast, and it's so cool. It's kind of a look into a lot of the product side of the horse industry. So different grooming supplies, supplements, services, all kinds of things. It's very informational. Annie's personality is bubblier and happier than me because she is just really good at her job. So I think you guys will really enjoy getting to know Annie. So check out Ask Annie podcast. Oh, and before you go, everybody, remember, leave us a review. Caitlin, what do reviews do when people leave us a review?
They help other people find us.
Yes, and we want other people to find us. And we read them.
I do. Every day. I see if there's a new one. I do. I will admit it.
Yes, we love if you leave us a review, whatever platform you're listening on. Most of you are listening on iTunes, so that means you scroll the whole way to the bottom of our library, of our episode library, and there you can leave us 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, 4 stars, or preferably 5 stars. And you can write us a review. We will read them. We will take them to heart. So don't forget. Thanks, everybody.